Well, good evening. It's 2019. I believe it's February the 1st today, 2019. It's going to get, here in Vernon, BC, it's going to get cold in the next couple of days. We've had a very mild winter. But it's supposed to really have a cold snap coming. Mind you, that seems to be all over North America. What I was going to talk about today is the news that seems to be pervasive right now. And one of the things is the the split in the United States so bad that they're just about they're just about immobilized. They really can't do anything. The situation in the States is getting pretty bad. I mean, the economy is pretty good. Canada is not doing that well because we have a government that doesn't believe in using our resources. Here we are, about 34 million people, and the second largest landmass nation in the world with all kinds of resources. And they're afraid to develop the resources and sell them. They don't want pipelines. I worked for a pipeline company for 20 years. And I've been away for 20 years. And I went back and said, how much are you pumping now? Oh, they said, about the same as we did 20 years ago. And I said, well, I said, this pipeline, I came here when I was 20 years old. I'm now 84. It's been going for over 60 years, pumping oil from Pembina oil fields in Alberta into Edmonton, Alberta, for 60 years. And as far as I know, it's worked very well. Just works day and night, 24 hours a day, delivering product. There's no better way to move something than by pipeline. The people who preach against it are nuts. They have an ulterior motive, totally different. I think there's an ulterior motive to restrict what Canada can get to market by forces that are a lot more powerful than Canadian resources are. And I think that's amazing. I wouldn't doubt that's a big part of it. Never talked about. But also one thing now that is, to me, is very bad and very telling, and basically, if you ever get to the point where you have settled in your mind that what you believe in, I went for maybe 75 years at least, maybe more than that, before I actually really settled in my mind and didn't have any what if or maybe this or that. I settled it in my mind totally, and the idea of Jesus Christ and how he his what would you call it, his gospel and his life and whatever is actually very true, and that God includes a father and a son, and they are the God family, and they are in total charge, but they are they operate in a different way than mankind does. They allow justice to be so just that it's perfect justice. They allow evil if it's right for evil to be allowed. They allow Satan to operate because he is the god of this world by default until he's removed. And that goes on and on and on, and we live and die and live and die and live and die and wait for this to complete. But the signs, never mind religion or anything like that. I mean, God didn't create a religion. Man created all these religions. God has a government that he's going to install in the earth when it's ready. And it'll be his kingdom, and he'll have there will be leaders and rulers and kings and all kinds of different things. It's very interesting. But the doom and gloom scenario, I mean, how many 100 years of people have said, oh, this is the end of the world now. Can't take any more of this. And we're only capable of accessing what our knowledge is from our life experiences. We can do some of it by history or whatever else, but we are formed by our life experiences more than anything else. But anyway, it's very relieving and empowering, actually, to get to a point where you have no doubt, and removal of doubt about what you believe in. You've settled what you believe in, and that's it. Doubt is removed. One of the things that I think are a sign of especially in North America, and I imagine it's the same in Europe. I don't know about other countries, but we have a situation where we have laws. I'm not sure if they're the same in Canada as the United States, but in the United States they have an abortion law which says that if the life, or if the health or the life of the mother is impacted, she can have an abortion. What's health? Is gaining 4 pounds and 8 pounds in a pregnancy, is that affecting her health? To me, that was put in purposely to allow people to have on-demand abortions. And now, in the United States, there's basically no limit on when you can have an abortion. They made it so, I think in New York State and some other states now, that women have demanded abortion right up until the birth, and they can abort right up even at birth. They also have a law that if a baby survives the abortion, it can't have any medical help. Now, the thing is, women claim that's empowering to them, and they can decide whether they should have a child or not. Well, that is actually not true. Being a woman being born a woman, brings with it the responsibility of the womb and the responsibility of reproduction. I know it sounds, I don't know, discriminatory or something, but the only reason for a woman is the womb and reproduction. That's her sole existence on this planet. Not all of them have children. There's some that do not want to have children at all, but to have children and kill them because of a change in vanity. And one of the things that is a terrible truth is that women suffer from vanity and jealousy more than men. Men don't have that kind of vanity like women have. But the penalty that I cannot see, I mean, I can see those who have no concern, do not believe God is the creator of this universe and the father of all people who were ever born, who created a system for reproduction. And if they don't believe that, then I guess aborting and killing babies is no problem. But if you come to the point where you believe that God created everything that you see, all of nature, it's hard to disown that fact. And the idea that humans are special and that they are created in the image of God. And for one group to say it's okay to kill their children, and anyone can make up a law to do anything if they have no authority as to what's right and wrong. So anyway, that sort of scenario of things cannot really get much worse than that. I suppose it still can get worse, but I'm sure that this is building up to a time when it's going to cause, in the United States and I would think in Canada, dissolving of any moral kind of government, where it's going to change to basically we will be taken over. The white race is going to be taken over. I can see that, and it's predicted, and God has determined that in the Bible. He's warned of it, that we will do that. We will end up doing that because we're goes on what it says before the end time comes, people will be lovers of themselves, and men will be laying with men and women with women and all kinds of things. Now we have the LBGTQ whatever, and people in schools that are trying to convert and promote small children into this is pretty diabolical to me. And it's being allowed, and school boards are allowing this. What kind of school boards is this? It's just amazing, you know. and refusing to recognize their gender, whether they're born a male or a female. They want to reject that. That to me is another good side, because the thing is that there isn't much happening in this world that Jesus didn't talk about, and wasn't in and that is not in the Bible, and stories in the Bible, and prophecy about it. Bible is there's a lot of prophecy in the Bible about things, a lot, and I enjoy mostly if I can read or hear what Jesus said, and never mind too much of the rest. Just listen to what he has said about things in general. And he did say, don't be enamored by this world. Don't get sick, which people are. Political correctness is one big example of that. And the trouble this world is going to have to go through, especially the white race, which is obviously the Israelite race of all the tribes of Israel. It obviously is, because that's who was transported into this country in the 1700s, 1800s, exactly when it was promised. But the business of climate change and all that stuff, that is basically talked about in the Bible quite a bit. The end times, when Christ said all these things will be happening, and storms and hurricanes and earthquakes and wars and rumors of wars, and basically internal wars. We're seeing the start of, in the States at least, is between right and left is so strong that it becomes practically tribal wars, racial wars, and a lot of hatred and corruption, like you can't believe. It makes me wonder how long, or I guess it has to get so bad. God allows it to get so bad, and it's all laid out. God knows exactly when it's going to end. The whole thing is laid out. We can't see it, but God no doubt sees the whole thing, knows it from one end to the other. It's so hard to really get a vision in your mind of how God operates and who God is actually. God is not a man. He created man. He's a spiritual being. He can manifest himself in ways. He has spirit beings that can manifest themselves. And the thing is, people don't realize, I guess people don't realize, but people don't want to realize how a God can be wrathful and as far besides being a loving God. They all want to talk about loving God and baby Jesus and stuff like that. It's much more than that. And I believe that it. I knew that prayer counts, because I've had prayer answered, absolutely answered, miracle answering. and documented. And I know that it appears to me that prayer is really more important than people realize. It is an automatic conduit to the Creator of the universe, that He has allowed that. He has the right to do that, and to petition. And God, in several places, God says, pray for your fellow partners, or why don't you pray for them? In other words, if you pray for them, I can do something. If you don't pray for them, I won't do anything. I've had a hard time figuring out how that works, but it appears that that is a requirement for God to act. That His great power is controlled by Him on purpose, that He controls His power, which is unlimited power, which a human being could never handle. But that abortion business that's beyond religion, beyond anything. It is absolutely. It's gotten to be absolutely corruption of the highest order. And to think that it's women who promote this. I saw where they were passing this law in New York, and there was when they passed it, all these women cheered and cheered. And how can that be? How can that be? I don't know what will happen, but I cannot see that being overlooked, because the thing is, the judgment actually most likely doesn't come right away, so there's no way of knowing it when it'll come. But anyway, I'm looking forward to see what happens in the United States. There's very important things going on there. And in Canada, we now have sold away our rights and heritage and everything with this United Nations compact that Justin Trudeau has signed, which means there can be unlimited immigration. You can't, and I think they've even got it in there. You can't you can't object to it, because that'll be illegal to object to it. And for the United Nations, I can't understand why he would sign something like that, and take away, the rights of a country to decide what it wants to do. It is very bad that we had, the women of Canada voted them in, and terrible mess. I hope they are able to remove him. Not that I'm, I shouldn't say that. It's getting to the point where I don't know if it matters much anymore to me. Just got a new car yesterday. Got it going. Malibu. 2006 Malibu. With 85,000 clicks on it. Been parked in a people's garage for the last year or more. It was owned by this guy's wife, who bought it from another woman, and it was driven very carefully because I figured I had to make a deal to get it. because it's basically like a new car, even though it's 13 years old. So that was kind of interesting. Capper was today. I took it to GM garage, and I had trouble with the fob clicker, on, off, lock, do whatever. And I had to get that fixed. And he had wanted $60 to do it. So, oh my gosh, I had to do that. When he did that, he's pressing on this one button, and that's the automatic start. And I said, well, that doesn't work. It doesn't have that. Oh, yes, he said it has that. He said, I don't know why it's working. I said, because I turned it off. It said on or off, and I didn't. As far as I knew, this didn't have it. So I went and turned it on. He went outside and pressed it, and bang, it started, remote start, which made my day. I like standing in the window when it's really cold and looking at the car and click a button, and it starts and gets warm. I can get into a warm car. That makes my day. So I'm quite happy about that. So anyway, this business of living in this world is getting trickier all the time. And one thing I know is that a person is supposed to not hold grudges against people and forgive. If you don't forgive, you will not be forgiven. I understand that. And in some cases, it's very hard to forgive. So what I've done is that I have physically forgiven them, spoke it, prayed it, asked God to forgive them on my behalf, because I'm not able to do it, but I want to do it. And otherwise, like I don't want to have, and it's easy to do. Man, is it ever easy to build up something against someone. I think it happens as you get older. I think it even gets worse. You start to get affected by things much easier. Things bother you easier. Things that never bothered me before. Little things, and now they do. And I have to recognize that. But anyway, whatever you've done, I forgive you. I don't know who you are. And hopefully that'll do something. But that's all we can talk about today. I mean, I'm talked out here. So thank you very much, and good night.